Welcome to Grammar Community in Concert, Cinematic. It's hard to imagine viewing a movie without music. In fact, we listen to a movie just as much as we watch it. And why is music so fundamental to a cinematic experience? It's because movies and TV inevitably are focused on highlighting, indeed exaggerating, human experiences. And there is no better way to awaken emotions in an audience than through music. Music helps connect us to our feelings. It's unavoidable. It's the way our brain is wired. And so, even though you may be perfectly content and happy as you enter the movie theatre with your popcorn, in no time at all, you could find yourself crying, or tense beyond belief, or blissfully at peace. And it is the music soundtrack which is crucial in making this happen. Tonight, we will experience such an emotional journey as our very best ensembles perform a range of movie scores. Some you will know, such as what our symphonic band is about to perform, the exciting and energetic music from The Incredibles and the haunting melodies of Avatar. You will also hear some lesser-known movie hits, as well as some music which is cinematic in nature, in the way that it tells a story and paints a picture. Inevitably, you will be amazed by the talents of our musicians, and I'm sure thoroughly entertained. On behalf of Headmaster Mr. Anthony McAuliffe, I welcome you and thank you for your support of the music program. I now invite you to sit back and enjoy the show. Please welcome the Symphonic Band and their conductor, Mr. Bevan Messenger.
Oh, are we rolling? Sorry. Lights, camera, action. Let's go.
One of my favourite movies is The Hobbit.
My favourite movie is Thor Ragnarok, because it's just got some very funny action and comedy moments in it, which is a good combo.
Aladdin?
I think my favourite movie is probably Parasite, the Oscar-winning one back in 2020.
Favorite movie of all time? It has to be the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. It's a masterpiece in its writing, but most importantly in its music, in its cinematography. Everything's just perfect, if I had to give it a describing word.
Probably Sonic the Hedgehog, maybe?
A really good movie would be Moonraker. I used to watch it all the time and it was just a great movie because it was action-packed.
My favourite movie is the Harry Potter series. I like how the music always tells you what is happening in the story and gives you little hints throughout the way, and you can sense if there's tension between two characters.
My favourite piece of film music, I reckon for me that'd probably be the theme from Schindler's List. Firstly, it's like just a very beautiful composition. It like has all of this emotion, and like kind of the melody is like well known. It's memorable.
The music in The Hobbit's really good, especially at the start when Bilbo is leaving. It's really a sense of energy from the it's called, I think, The Adventure Begins, the piece there.
Pirates of the Caribbean. The music just goes really well with it, and it just kind of guides the song, flows with it. Whenever Captain Jack Sparrow is about to get away, his theme, the Pirates of the Caribbean theme comes on, which is just like really motivating, and it sounds like they're pushing forward.
One example is the Star Wars soundtrack.
Probably Star Wars. Well, it has great themes, and it also the themes match with music when it's on.
So just like the Imperial March from Star Wars.
And personally, my favorite part of music is the Imperial March.
It's such a famous piece of music because it just goes so well with everything in Star Wars that's just synonymous with the film now.
Probably just because it suits like the general mood of like the scenes that it's in. Like, it's like a march tune.
It basically showcases like it's played whenever Darth Vader comes onto the screen and is like sort of on the dark side.
Probably like a low notes of just like the staccato. It might be, I'm pretty sure it's staccato.
And that minor scale basically like emphasizes that he is not a good person.
Pretty good.
I remember I really enjoyed analysing the Interstellar music score because I just remember it like really matched, like the music really matched like the intensity of what was happening. It was just like, it was definitely a very good example of film music that I've seen.
My favourite piece of movie music is the How to Train a Dragon music. It's very nostalgic. The music is very uplifting, is probably the best term. And it makes you feel like you're like flying through the clouds in a way. This is Burke. The opening scene and the starting music of the piece perfectly like puts in frame the rest of the movie. It's calming but also entertaining, and its progression in the piece just fills you with excitement before the movie even begins.
Oh, okay. Are you kidding? The Godfather is not only the greatest movie of all time, it has the greatest music of all time. It showcases the Italian music so perfectly, and the Godfather waltz is absolutely iconic. Not only did Nino Rota earn the Academy Award for Godfather 2 for having the best music that year, but Francis Ford Coppola's father wrote authentic Italian music for the dance scenes like the wedding you see at the start. There is nothing more authentic and there is nothing better. It is the perfect movie and the music is perfect.
But how many people actually know The Godfather?
Are you kidding? It is literally touted as the best movie ever.
Well, I've never seen it.
My favourite piece of music in movies. Wait, do we hum it?
Bum 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 ba bum bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum ba bum. Bum 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 bum.
Down, 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 down.
Bum 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 bum. Yeah, that's it.
Ba, 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 ba. It's just such a great song, and it's persisted all these years, ever since 1972. Something I assure you How to Train Your Dragon will not.
No way. This is going to stand for centuries. The movie is majestic. You want to hear a tune?
How many Academy Awards
You want to hear a
have you won?
tune? This is a tune. Ba da 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 da.
Can you dance to that?
Oh.
And now, please welcome to the stage the host of Grammar TV's top-rating movie review show, Cinematic, the show that digs deep into what's new on the big screen and the music that makes it all happen. Put your hands together for Angus Duncan.
Thank you, thank you. Wow, all that applause and we still didn't win the Logie. Well, it's my pleasure to be with you all again this evening. Have you ever wondered what the secret behind all those Hollywood hits truly is? Why you hate Darth Vader but cheer for Luke Skywalker? Why you cry when E.T. goes home but can't wait to be rid of Thanos? Why Steven Spielberg owes half his wealth to John Williams? It's all about the music. We start tonight's show in the world of Japanese animation. Kiki's Delivery Service is a 1989 film about 13-year-old Kiki, a young witch who moves to a seaside town for a year through her village's tradition. She sets up a courier service. Throughout her adventures, she slowly gains confidence and finds her place in the world. Our studio band tonight is purely percussive, the Senior Percussion Ensemble. While the composer was John Hisashi, the arranger is Year 12 student Li Han Ling. I think you'll agree he's a cinematic star of the future. He has been supported by director Mr. Lucas Gordon, with cinematography by Year 12 student Lachlan Tu. With Kiki's Delivery Service, please welcome the Senior Percussion Ensemble. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the show a very special guest indeed, none other than one of our own music vice captains, Alden Summerfield. Alden, great to see you.
You too, mate.
Good. Firstly, can you tell me what exactly is your role here in the Grammar Music Studio?
I'm one of the senior music leaders with a special responsibility for all of our wonderful choirs.
That sounds really expendable. How long have you been singing for?
About 5 years.
That's 7 longer than me. And in that time, what's been the highlight?
Highlight was probably going to Sydney billeting for ASCMF on behalf of Grammar. That was good fun.
That sounds amazing. I'm not allowed into New South Wales anymore, but what is it like being a student leader in the music program?
Oh, it's a real privilege. It's incredible being able to mix with the younger boys and see where the future of it's going.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that sounds great, but do you ever actually get to have your hands on and lead an ensemble yourself?
Well, it's actually interesting you should ask this. Tonight, Robbie Gilbert will be making his debut conducting performance. Miss Beck Thomas, the inspirational conductor of vocal group, she was invited to play a starring role, in fact, in a production of the movie called My Best Brother's Wedding. Subtitle, it's been delayed twice because of COVID, so nothing was going to stop me going. She's gone to Sydney this weekend to take up that role with our blessing.
Oh, that's excellent. I saw the prequel to that movie. It was excellent. So Robbie was the understudy, but now he's been called up to take the leading role. Is that right?
That is right, and I'm sure he will do an excellent job, and soon he'll be ready to take over the music block.
Well, I hope for music program's sake that doesn't happen. Tell me, what will he be conducting?
So tonight they will be singing Lead the Way from the Disney movie Raya and the Last Dragon. It was released in 2021 by Walt Disney Animation Studios and is their most critical and dark movie yet. We were invited to the fantasy world of Kamundra, where dragons and humans lived together in harmony long ago. When an evil force threatened the land, the dragons sacrificed themselves to save humanity. 500 years later, and the same evil has returned, and it's up to the lone warrior, Raya, to track down the last legendary dragon and restore the fractured land to its divided people. Along her journey, she'll learn that it takes more than a dragon to save the world. She'll also need trust, teamwork, and forgiveness.
That just sounds touching. It's a shame Miss Thomas won't be here to enjoy it. Are they ready to go?
As a matter of fact, we're going to hear first of all from one of our other studio ensembles, the Gramophones.
Are you conducting them?
Unfortunately, I couldn't get rid of Mr. Ingram yet.
I've no doubt you'll do it soon. Tell me about what they'll be singing.
Their first song isn't actually from a movie, but we've created a short film to go along with it. The images will help tell the story.
Oh, what is the story?
The song is called A Vastness of an Uninterrupted Sky. In 2019, old boy composer Dan Walker came to Grammar and spent an afternoon workshopping with the Gramophones with the mission of creating a piece for them to perform at an upcoming National Choir Festival. We bounced ideas off each other and initially created some lyrics. We settled on the idea of overcoming adversity with the metaphor of climbing a mountain.
Mountain metaphor to represent adversity. Very original, I like it. So this was pre-COVID?
Yes.
I guess you couldn't have preempted the sort of mountains we'd all have to climb during the pandemic.
Exactly.
You mentioned some images.
Yes, so as we perform tonight, you'll see the pictures up on the big screen, particularly from nature, just like we are climbing the metaphorical mountain. The music is amazing, it's so powerful.
I'm already riveting. Has it been performed before?
Well, it's very exciting. There was a virtual premiere in 2020, Gramophones, when they were released, but the song has never actually been performed live before.
Wow, you hear that, audience? You can't spam the dislike button on this one. So tonight's the night then?
Roll out the red carpet for a world premiere, sort of.
Will you be performing anything else?
Yes, we're then going to transport everyone into the magical world of Toy Story. We're going to perform a couple of songs which really highlight how music can make an audience feel the emotions of the characters. Imagine that you have been rejected by your very best friend, the most important person in your entire world. This is where Jessie the cowgirl finds herself in the second movie. The beautiful harmonies and the sad melody of the song When She Loved Me exactly match this mood.
I told myself I wouldn't cry if they brought up Toy Story.
Don't worry, spoiler alert, things will work out all right in the end, as second song clearly shows there's always a couple of surprises, so I won't give anything away.
Well, that sounds great. We'll let you go and get ready. I think your hair could use a touch-up. Thank you very much for being with us, Alden. Can we give a round of applause to Alden, please? Well, you've heard it here first, folks. We have all sorts of things to look forward to from our two choirs, so let's cut to them now in the studio. Please welcome director Mr. Peter Ingram, accompanist Mr. Michael Allport, and the BGS gramophones.
was meant to be. And when she was lonely, I was there to comfort her, and I knew that she loved me when she loved me, So the years went by, I stayed the same, but she began to drift away. I was left alone, still I waited for the day when she'd say, I will always love you. Lonely and forgotten, never thought she'd look my way, and she smiled at me and held me just like she used to do, like she loved me when she loved me. When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour we spent together lives within my heart. When she loved me, she loved me, loved me. When somebody loves You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and we're miles and miles from a nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said, son. You've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. Maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. Just me and you, boy. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
Well, music and films are just really important because they just showcase all the emotions in the film.
So you need music to help convey an expression or an emotion. Like some cinematic films, like I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean, it can sound dramatic, it can sound sad.
The point is to add depth to the scene, moods and emotions.
Well, I really think that music, it just adds to the mood of the scene.
There's sad music, angry music, suspenseful music, just a lot of different types of music that helps enhance the movie.
It gives it mood, like it changes the mood. If you watch a horror movie and it's got no music, it won't be very good, but if it's got the spooky music, it'll be much scarier.
Well, I think it just makes the film so much more engaging. Like, it's one thing just to see what's happening, but like the music makes it a far more immersive experience. You just feel like, you know, you're in the movie or watching what's happening with your own eyes as opposed to through a screen.
The music brings you into the movie's world, right? If there was no music, it would just be some picture playing on a screen and you'd be watching it from afar. But the music enhances the sensory perception and it makes you feel like you're actually there. It conveys emotions in the scene, it builds on them. Leitmotifs repeated across a movie go, oh, that character's about to come in. You know, just recognisable tunes among them.
People relate to the music.
So I reckon the more music that you have in the movie, the better.
We have a choice to build or destroy, to fight or to come together. Love is a bridge and trust is a gift. We give it and it gets better. There's an energy in the water, there's magic deep in our hearts. There's a legacy that we honor when we bring the light to the dark. There's an energy in the water, there's magic
Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to seek the pale enchanted gold. And so begins the epic journey of The Hobbit, the 2012 smash hit by director Peter Jackson with music by Howard Shore. The adventure follows the journey of the title character, Bilbo Baggins, who is swept into an epic quest to reclaim the lost dwarf kingdom of Erebor from the fearsome dragon Smaug. In a time and place where strange men with pipes and beards were considered trustworthy, Bilbo is approached out of the blue by the wizard Gandalf the Grey and finds himself joining a company of 13 dwarves led by the legendary warrior Thorin Oakenshield. Their journey will take them into the wild, through treacherous lands swarming with goblins and orcs, deadly wargs and giant spiders, shapeshifters and sorcerers. Although their goal lies to the east and the wasteland of the Lonely Mountain, first they must escape the goblin tunnels, where Bilbo meets the creature that will change his life forever, Gollum. Here, alone with Gollum, on the shores of an underground lake, the unassuming Bilbo not only discovers depths of guile and courage that surprise even him, but he also gains possession of Gollum's precious ring that holds unexpected and useful qualities. A simple gold ring which is not only tied to the fate of Middle-earth, but which also possesses the power to make J.R.R. Tolkien's grandchildren extremely rich. This haunting a cappella setting of Tolkien's powerful text paints the perfect picture. The assembled group of brave warriors is commonly known as the Grammar Vocal Ensemble, and with their vocal leader, or soloist, Oliver Christie. Much danger awaits him and his fellow dwarves on this unexpected journey over the misty mountains cold.
Mountains go to dungeons deep and caverns old. We must away ere break of day to find our long forgotten goal. The pines were and caverns old. We must away ere break of day and seek our pale enchanted gold and find our long forgotten home.
Robbie,
Oh,
come
yeah.
here. Come here.
Oh.
I'm Angus Duncan from Grammar's TV show Cinematic. You might have seen our bus ads.
No.
Please.
I haven't.
Well, it doesn't matter. Sit down.
Oh.
Can I ask you a few questions?
I guess so. I'm here now.
I understand that you're one of the music vice captains this year, is that right?
Well, if you must know, I'm kind of the most important one.
I'll take your word for that one. I'm sure you're really busy at the moment thinking about crotchets and quavers and whatnot, whatever you do in your job. But I was wondering if you could give us a little bit more insight into what's next.
What do you want to know?
Well, let's start with who the performers are.
Well, these are the Grammar Singers, our joint BGS-BGGS choir. What better way is there to get boys to talk to girls than by having them sing with them first?
That has always been my experience. Now, on the running sheet, I saw you were singing something from the movie called The Mission. Don't you think the public deserves to know what exactly this mission is?
Fine. It's set in South America in the 18th century. Jesuit priests have set up a mission deep in the jungle, and the locals, after a few doubts, happily accepted them. The song we're going to sing is Ave Maria, which is clearly mass appropriate, that you'd likely find in a mission.
So you're taking us to church?
Well, no, not really. At the end of the movie, the song comes back, but it's quite different. The Portuguese colonizers are not happy that the priests are trying to stamp out slavery, so they brutally destroy the mission. The priests and locals refuse to fight back. Instead, they sing this song as the soldiers... Wait, this show's PG, right? Oh, I'll just leave it at that then.
Good call. Well, that sounds like a pretty powerful double meaning to me.
Yes, it's pretty powerful.
Do you have anything a bit happier?
Would a medley from West Side Story tickle your fancy?
Not particularly.
Who doesn't like West Side Story?
I did hear that Steven Spielberg recently released a new version of this, right?
Yes, that's actually true.
What songs will you be singing?
Well, we're going to start with Tonight, which is where the star-crossed lovers, Tony and Maria, sing about how much they're looking forward to meeting up that night. Well, I'd say things must go pretty well, because later the girls are all too happy for Maria, featuring an I Feel Pretty.
But can you comment on Tony's reactions to these developments? Does he feel pretty too?
He is smitten. Annoyingly so, actually. I simply cannot get our Tony, Alex Graves, to stop saying her name, Maria. It's always Maria this, Maria that, Maria did this. Do you want to know about Maria? Honestly, the man needs a hobby. Anyway, to finish off, the girls and boys come together to sing about their newly adopted country, America. The girls are happy, but the boys, well, they'll need some more convincing. Maybe Alex should introduce them to Maria. In any case, it's a good way to finish things off.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Thanks very much for chatting, Robbie.
All too happy to.
Thank you.
Forced into
Good.
this. Thank you.
In the fine and long-standing tradition which exists of Hollywood movie makers working well together and not being egotistical, grammar singers have co-conductors. Mrs. Ruani D.S. Jayasinger from BGGS will conduct Ave Maria, and Mr. Peter Ingram will direct West Side Story. On piano is the wonderful Kathy Sander. Please welcome the Grammar Singers.
Maria. The most beautiful sound I ever heard. Maria, Maria, all the most beautiful sounds of the world with a single word. Maria, 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 Maria. Just guessed a girl named Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me. Maria, I just kissed a girl named Maria, and suddenly I found how wonderful a sound can be. Maria, say it loud and there's music playing. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying Maria.
Well, now that my lawyer has successfully intimidated my show's producer, we're back in the studio and I'm joined by band's captain Michael Murray.
It's great to be here, Angus. Now, you said if I came on your show again, I'd get my trombone back.
All in due course, all in due course. I must say, you do look very snappy in your blacks this evening. That outfit looks like it costs more than my house. Does this mean we have a different studio band about to perform?
Well, we do look pretty flash, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Sorry. Yeah, you sure do. This is the Grammar Big Band.
Oh, cool. I love jazz. I'm sure you can tell by my haircut. How does that work in the movies, though?
You do have a very jazzy haircut, Angus.
I know.
But, well, jazz in music works the same as any music, really, just a lot groovier. There's a lot of different styles of jazz, and so it's going to match lots of different dramatic situations. Take one of the songs we'll perform for you tonight, God Bless the Child. It was made famous by the legendary Billie Holiday and sung by Diana Ross in the movie Lady Sings the Blues. As a style, the blues with its slower tempo and use of minor notes makes any song seem a bit more contemplative. The blues are about struggle, soul, and getting over that struggle, and that's what makes it such a great complement in movies.
All right, ease up there, Wikipedia. But I can't wait. I am genuinely excited. Are you going to do another one?
Well, if you'd like us to. For our last piece, I want you to imagine we're off to the hustle and bustle of España. Sorry, for those of you in the audience who don't know Spanish, that just means Spain. Chick Corea was a jazz legend who passed away last year, and while this isn't strictly movie music, it's certainly a showcase of what our big band can do. So to honor Chick Corea, who passed away last year, we'll play his classic tune, appropriately called Spain.
Well, thanks very much, Michael, for joining us and giving us such insight.
I'll try find my trombone.
Yeah, you better do that. Please give a round of applause to Michael. Now, are any of you out there in the audience old enough to remember when a session at the movies had 2 feature films? Looks like some of you are old enough. Well, that's what's going to happen tonight. After Big Band finish, there will be a 20-minute intermission during which you can get some popcorn or choc tops, or maybe, if you'd like, buy a raffle ticket from the music support group. This hard-working group of music groupies do so much to support not only their boys, but also the music staff. Whether it is collecting tickets, selling salmon, cooking sausages, or raising much-needed funds for the department, these wonderful parents do so much on your behalf. At the moment, we are trying to make enough money to purchase enough instruments for our new Year 5 classes next year. This doesn't come cheaply, so if you could help out by purchasing a couple raffle tickets for $5 or 3 for $10, that would be greatly appreciated. It's going to be drawn in the second half of tonight's performance, so now really is your last chance. Can you please put your hands together in a very warm round of applause for the music support group? In addition to raffle tickets, you will be able to purchase drinks and other refreshments, so relax and enjoy catching up with friends. But be warned, you won't want to be late coming back to the second half, or the force may not be with you. Please welcome the Grammar Big Band and their conductor, Mr. Daryl Bowers. Wow. What a way to start our second half. Is the force with you? If it's not, no refunds. Did your skin crawl when those dark trombones and tubas played Darth Vader's theme? Did the quiet, gentle melody in the woodwinds make you appreciate how dignified Princess Leia is? And what about that ending? Did the power of the full string section, along with the trumpets and French horns and everyone else, make you think that you had successfully joined Luke Skywalker to save a galaxy far, far away? It certainly worked for me. In fact, if you look carefully at the Star Wars films, I'm actually that guy who plays Jabba the Hutt. Now, the orchestra will continue to make us fly as they teach us how to train your dragon. The story of this 2010 hit animated movie takes place in the mythical Viking world where a young Viking teenager named Hiccup aspires to follow his tribe's tradition of becoming a dragon slayer. After finally capturing his first dragon, and with the chance of at last gaining his tribe's acceptance, he decides, however, that he no longer wants to kill the dragon and instead befriends it. Buckle up and enjoy the flight.
Could you imagine going to a movie with no music?
No.
I wouldn't dream of it, but if I was one day to go without music, it would probably be like watching the everyday lives of the different people in our world.
Yeah, it'd be boring.
Pretty boring. It would be like old films, black and white films where it's got no music, and it would just be pretty boring.
People would be lost and not really understanding it as well because there's no real motivation to it. Because music kind of sets up the emotion of the scene.
If it was just film on its own, I think that like without music it wouldn't be as effective.
No, it's just absolutely a necessary part of watching a film because otherwise it just feels empty without music.
I'll be right where I belong. Belong. I'll be where I belong. Down an unknown road to embrace my fate. That road may wander, lead me to you. 1,000 years would be worth the wait. It may take a lifetime, but somehow I'll see it through. Oh, I will find my way. Do I can go the distance? Oh, I'll be there someday. Do if I can be strong, I know every mile will be worth my while. When I go the distance, I'll be right where I belong. But to look beyond the glory is the hardest part. For a hero's strength is measured by his heart. His heart, I will beat. I'll beat the odds, and maybe I can go the distance before the world, and I'll be fearless, proud and strong. I will please my God. I can go the distance till I find my hero's welcome right where I belong.
Why did I join the choir? Well, I am a parent of 2 boys at Boys Grammar, and it was just a wonderful opportunity to get involved in the musical program.
Why did I join community choir? My son and my daughter both went to boys and girls grammar respectively, and was interested in singing and music, so I decided to join. Yeah.
I'm an ex-grammar girl and I've been doing the community choir since the 90s, which is before all the current students were born, and I keep coming back because it's just so much fun and I love singing.
Yeah, I mean, I like singing. It's good to catch up with
people that I've been with before, and Peter's brings a lot of fun and laughter into the group, so it's a good night out. Cheap entertainment.
It's really a great chance to get to know the school a little bit more. So my son's just started in year 7, so getting to meet a few other parents and getting to do something a bit creative that we maybe haven't had a chance to do for a little while.
You don't have to be a good singer. Reading music helps, but you don't have to be able to do it.
Yeah, I guess a certain level of musicality helps, but the good thing about singing in a choir is no one's going to hear a few mistakes amongst all those people.
There is a range of abilities, a range of passions for singing. Some people are just coming along for the fun, and other people have clearly had years of training. So, you know, there's something for everyone.
I think it helps to be able to sing in tune.
Oh, it helps because it makes the rest of us sound really good.
But I wouldn't say it's critical. Peter certainly brings the best out of us.
You can be an expert in the shower. Reading music probably helps a bit, but I think it's more important to be courageous and enthusiastic and willing to learn.
So there's a big range of people. So we've got parents, there are grandparents, there are ex-students, there is a whole range of people that are part of it, and that's a lot of fun.
They're diverse.
The community choir is it's one of my happy places, and I just love singing.
The choir is really supportive. It's loads of fun. I laugh every week when I come, and I feel really joyful once I've left.
You feel so energised because of all the breathing that we do and just the fun singing that we do.
I always enjoy it. It's great to learn new songs. It expands your appreciation for different types of music as we move from sort of classic pieces to popular pieces.
Yeah, a lot of fun. It's a real mix of songs that we're getting to do, which is great as well. I was quite involved with choirs when I was younger, and Peter was my conductor way back, and obviously neither of us have changed a bit. And so it's been great to get back into that too.
Peter's an excellent conductor, as well as being serious and getting all the serious things out of the choir. He's also very entertaining, so I find his rehearsals quite fun.
Peter always makes us giggle. That's always a bonus.
Yes, he's great. He's generally making us laugh, and I think that's probably intentional. When you're laughing, you actually sing better. I think it's sort of, you know, working the diaphragm. So no, he's great fun.
Yes, he's very professional and he's funny at the same time, so he keeps us all motivated and challenged. Yeah, I like it.
Well, he makes us do a lot of enunciation, like the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue.
The tongue twisting warm-ups, the bipple bopple tickle tackle.
Yeah, lots of weird hand movements, which kind of feels, yeah.
Whoa, and the...
There's some really interesting techniques, and it's been great to see what the boys get to experience as part of the choirs as well. So the clapping and the rhythm and the tempo. I'm terrible at all of that, but that's been fun.
If you saw the choir at week 1, you'd really understand what a miracle worker Peter is, and the fact that out of such a short period of time with completely unfamiliar repertoire, he manages to get a great sound out of all of us. It's just a privilege to be part of it.
Michael is the ultimate professional.
The magic about Michael is that he knows exactly what to play before Peter even asks him to play it, and you kind of forget that he's there.
I really think Michael is just amazing. He's like the unsung hero in the corner, although we do always praise his work. But without him, I really think it would just completely fall apart. He holds us together.
He keeps us on track as well, so if there's anything that we're kind of getting a little bit wrong, he's able to play that bit extra loud for us so we can keep up.
He's very patient. Very patient.
Fantastic, very professional and very adaptable, which I think he would need to be.
So we've got 6 rehearsals.
We rehearse every Wednesday night.
Then the week before the concert, we have an extra Sunday afternoon rehearsal with the orchestra. Having the orchestra there is great because you get to hear the whole piece in full.
Yeah, when the orchestra comes in, it's just completely different again.
I love being with the young musicians. Their skill and their professionalism is just inspiring.
Music is just fun. You just need to come along, have a go, and just have fun with it.
Look, it's a great thing. I would certainly encourage people to get involved. It's cheap entertainment and have a lot of fun.
The more the better, as far as I'm concerned, because the sound's stronger and more confident.
For you young guys, yeah, get into it, because my experience was I dropped out of singing when I left school, and I probably regret that now, because it is fun and it's a great pastime.
I've totally enjoyed the experience to be on stage with these young performers and see their level of skill and dedication and the amount of time they put into all of their practice, and we get to be part of that.
I love being part of this choir. I love making music, coming together with a group of people and creating something that's bigger than all of us.
And now we'd like to sing for you one of the cinematic great all-time songs, Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz. Enjoy.
Here we are back in the studio one last time. Don't worry, all suffering comes to an end at some point. I'm with self-proclaimed string guru and our final music vice captain for tonight, Thomas Kwan. Welcome to Cinematic, Thomas.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
Is it? I was reading an article on Facebook the other day that likened the violin to the human voice, and that more than any other musical instrument, it can express human emotions. Now, the article later devolved into aggressive pro-Trump rhetoric, but the beginning was very interesting. Would you agree with this initial statement?
I may be biased, but I really couldn't agree more.
So what do you think is the cause of this, if you don't mind me saying, string elitism, or string privilege, as some people have called it?
Well, of course, there's lots of things that contribute to this. Across a string ensemble, there is a huge range of notes, which matches the huge range of emotions that people can experience. The rich quality of the tone color has a unique ability to touch an audience. When needed, a string player can use lots of weight on the string and couple this with vibrato to express something that words can't even express.
Wow, you make me want to start learning violin. But what about in the movies?
Well, it's really versatile. You can play really lightly and playfully when the mood is happy, but then it can also scare the living daylights out of you. What about that iconic scene, shower scene in Psycho? It would really be nothing without those screeching violins.
You make a good point, but I think if I tried to play the soundtrack to that moment, that scene would have 2 murders in it. Though I reckon I could make it screech one way or another.
I'm sure you could. But can you play like our next soloist, David's son? He's going to give a perfect example of how the violin can touch the emotions of listeners. Can you imagine anything more tragic than losing loved ones as part of the Holocaust in World War II? The movie Schindler's List is all about this, and the music is absolutely central to the communication of these emotions. Listen to the big jumps in the melody, which seem to call out in anguish, and the beautiful, rich harmonies of the chamber strings when they play together. I reckon you just might start crying.
I think I might. Anything else?
Yes, so we're going to be starting with Molly on the Shore. Just imagine standing on your sailing boat and looking onto shore. There, standing, peering out at you from afar, is the love of your life, Molly.
That is sad, but not as sad as Toy Story.
Not really. You get to shore and you celebrate by dancing a traditional Irish reel.
Well, I do like Irish things. Thank you very much, Thomas, for giving us some insight into string elitism. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the Grammar Chamber Strings and their conductor, Mr. Stephen Chin, with Molly on the Shore and the emotive Schindler's List. Well, now we are in for a treat. The 1984 film Amadeus won an amazing 8 Oscars. It is based, somewhat loosely, on the real life of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, the tragic story of a genius whose life as a much-beloved international superstar is plagued by the gravity of his own brilliance. But enough about me. It traces his development from boy prodigy to tormented genius. An equally important character in the movie is the real-life rival of Mozart, Salieri. Nowhere near as talented or creative as the often arrogant Mozart, he plots and schemes a way to have an ailing Mozart compose one final masterpiece, which Salieri planned to claim as his own. The climax of the movie has Salieri dictating the notes of the final work, only to have Mozart die just before it is finished. The final scene has a dramatic amen, as Mozart's body is cruelly dumped into an unmarked grave. An undignified death by the standards of most people, a very dignified death by the standards of pop stars. While parts of the plot are, shall we say, very Hollywood, much of it is true. And there is no mistaking the genius of the soundtrack, all original Mozart compositions. They've been carefully chosen to match the mood and drama of each scene to create what amounts to a brilliant melody of Mozart tunes that takes the audience on a roller coaster of emotions. And this brings us to our penultimate performance tonight. The Grammar Community Choir is joined by the BGS Chamber Orchestra and gramophones to perform 2 movements of Mozart's mighty work, appropriately dubbed his Requiem. The famous Dies Irae talks of the final judgment. Listen for the soaring soprano melody, the often chromatic chords in the rest of the choir, and the restless string accompaniment. This will be followed by Lacrimosa, which promises peace for the fallen Mozart, but never seems quite to make it with the final Amen, a fitting climax. Under the baton of Head of Music, Mr. Peter Ingram, ladies and gentlemen, Mozart's Requiem.
Good evening. My name is Harry Dixon, and I am the 2022 music captain. In many ways, for all musicians at Grammar, music is a bit like the Force from Star Wars. It surrounds us in rehearsals. It binds us to each other in strong friendships, and it's all held together by the best group of student musicians and teachers that anyone could ask for. I feel privileged to be able to play and sing with fellow student musicians equally as passionate for music as I am. The joy that music at Grammar has brought to so many of my friends and me is something that simply can't be put into words. I'd like to thank the other music captains, Robbie, Michael, Tom, and Alden, for their eagerness that's allowed us to work to try to make music even better. I look forward to another 6 months of music making with all musicians in the program. One of the great things about concerts like this is that they show off the very best that Grammar music has to offer. Back in Year 7, I was inspired to play the French horn after listening to one of the best student horn players I've ever heard do a horn solo at the 2017 Grammar in Concert. And the cinematic theme of this concert has perfectly showcased the talent in the music program through some of the most well-known movie music. But these performances could not be achieved if it weren't for the dedication and hard work of every single music teacher. In particular, I want to thank 3 groups of music staff. Firstly, the group and private lesson teachers. Their work often goes unseen but does not go unheard in concerts like this. They use their professional experience to take our playing to the next level, no matter how young or old we are, and we cannot thank them enough. Next, the conductors of younger ensembles and groups that you did not see on stage tonight. They are essential for developing our core music skills and produce musicians like the ones that came across this concert stage. And the last group, the conductors and accompanists who you saw playing tonight. Their tireless devotion to ensuring that each ensemble performs at their very best constantly pushes us to play and sing better, and we've definitely seen the results that has tonight. I'd like to especially mention Miss Ward and Mr. Ingram. Miss Ward, your organisational and musical talents often go unnoticed, but none of us could really imagine Grammar music without you. And Mr. Ingram, you run a mammoth program, and your energy in every rehearsal is tangible. After trying my hand at conducting myself, I appreciate even more how much vigour you put into each beat, each consonant you articulate, and every word that we sing. You lead Grammar music from the front with enthusiasm and passion. We are also spoilt by the members of the music support group who spend countless hours at concerts fundraising for new equipment, feeding hungry musicians, and making our music experience the very best that it can be. You may have noticed that tonight they were holding a raffle. This thing. So, for those of you who entered, Robbie here is going to decide your fate. Okay. So, in third prize, we have
F98.
So, the lucky winner of F98 gets
Orange.
Do we have a winner?
Hand up high.
No? Okay.
All right, we have a winner.
Okay, so for the third prize, that's a movie ticket and an assortment of beverages. Now for second prize, Robbie, how are we going?
Blue Sea 63.
Do we have a winner? Okay, well, I'm going to trust that the winner's in the audience somewhere. The winner of the second prize gets a Movies at Home package. And now for the first prize, Robbie.
Oh my gosh. A lot of pressure riding on this one. Orange F32.
Yeah. Okay, well that's definitely the right one. Yeah. Okay. But finally, I'd like to thank you, the audience. Having such a supportive group of family and friends just makes us play even better. For parents, you are the ones who drive us to early morning rehearsals and pick us up from afternoon practices. We wouldn't have such a successful music program if it weren't for your dedication. A special thanks as well to Mr. McAuliffe, Mr. Thorne, and Mr. Carroll in the audience for their ongoing support of the music program. I hope you've enjoyed the concert, and luckily, there's still one big item left. But just before I hand back to Angus to introduce it, I'd like to thank him for his comeback as our MC tonight. His command of the English language and his wit that made him a hit music introducer on Assemblies last year has made him the perfect host for TV show Cinematic. Please put your hands together for Angus to introduce our finale.
Now look, hold on, I know what you're thinking. Two gingers speaking back to back. Has the world gone mad? Ladies and gentlemen, before we close our show with one final piece, I do want to thank you very sincerely for coming out tonight. I'm sure that for some of you, as you sat down this evening, a very small part of yourself thought, why am I here? I have Spotify at home, and if I wanted to hear my child, or if I wanted to see my child perform mediocre at something, I would just ask them to cook dinner. But now, after the most spectacular pieces we have enjoyed tonight, on the emotional roller coaster through cinematic history, I have no doubt that that small part of you has been utterly silenced, and that you have come to more fully appreciate the depth of intricacy and beauty which exists in the musical scores that underlie our favorite films. We've laughed like maniacs, wept like war widows, pondered like philosophers, and all the while enjoyed the saintly sounds of our incredibly talented music ensembles. There are so many people to thank this evening, and Harry has already covered that job very well. The only person I would like to single out particularly is our head of music, Mr. Ingram, whose tireless efforts and masterful conducting this evening has made tonight as special as it has been. Before I introduce the final song, just a word about what will happen at the end of the concert. To avoid too much congestion in the foyer, senior schoolboys have been told to meet their parents on the veranda areas outside the foyer. Middle school boys will be taken to the foyer by staff, so parents, you can meet your younger kids there. We finish tonight with an inspirational song which brings together all of our singers and the augmented chamber orchestra to present a spectacular version of the song You Will Be Found from the 2021 movie Dear Evan Hansen. This brilliant coming-of-age film tackles real issues of mental health, with the title character managing to embroil himself in a series of challenging situations which ultimately make the assembled cast better human beings as a result. As the title suggests, You Will Be Found has a strong and positive message of inclusivity and friendship, themes which are incredibly important in our society today. Our soloists tonight are Alden Summerfield and Scarlett McKellen, and the conductor, Mr. Ingram. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for making tonight's Cinematic a very special event indeed, and I wish you all a very safe journey home, unless you're driving behind me. Please welcome our combined ensembles with You Will Be Found.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear?
So let that lonely feeling wash away, 'cause maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand.
Someone will come running. They'll take you